Hello, I'm John Brinton, Chief Revenue Officer at Crescendo. Thanks for joining us today for our session. I'm joined by our Director of Sales Engineering, Patrick Jean, and our topic today is CAIRO for Crescendo. So you may ask, what's CAIRO besides a place in Egypt? So Patrick, why don't you go on to the next slide? We're going to talk a little bit about CAIRO. It is the Crescendo AI receptionist and orchestrator. And what it does, it's a powerful tool for businesses of all size to help them answer calls, converse with their customers and constituents, qualify for what the customer's action is that they like to have happen, and then route calls to the proper destination, including scheduling and other forms of follow-up. So what CAIRO does is it really allows you to have a 24/7, 365 receptionist that's there, knows everything about your business that you've taught it to know, provides that information to customers and deals with their issues and questions and helps them as they dial in. So it's a really conversational front desk experience for callers. It handles routine questions. It captures customer intent, gathers key details for you, and then it routes to the right internal destination. So CAIRO is fully integrated with our Crescendo platform, and it'll route the calls to the appropriate user, ring group, call queue, voicemail, wherever it is determined, or it may go to another action like scheduling an appointment. And Patrick will show you that here shortly. And it's designed for businesses of all sizes, really help them reduce missed calls, not have the training burden of training these front-end employees to answer calls and handle scheduling and do a lot of stuff. But I could take a lot of time telling you about it, but I'm going to hand the call over to the session over to Patrick now so that he can actually show you CAIRO in action. So Patrick, we've got a couple examples here. Take it away.
Thank you, John. So I'm going to place a live call so we can experience CAIRO from the point of view of a caller. And we picked two very distinct environments we built. The first is going to be Desert Willow Family Medicine, where I will act as a new patient calling to schedule an appointment, ask about insurance questions and anything. And then listen how CAIRO understands natural speech, gathers key details, and determines where to move the call next. All right, let's give it a try.
Welcome to Desert Willow Family Medicine in Gilbert, Arizona. We're glad you called. If this is an emergency, please hang up and dial 911 immediately. How can we assist you today?
Hi, yeah, we're looking for a new doctor for my son. He's on the autism spectrum.
Thank you for reaching out about care for your son. We do have pediatric services, including developmental screening and mental health support with Dr. Hannah Lee, MD, who focuses on pediatrics and developmental screening. I can assist you with the new patient intake process to get your son set up with a provider here. Would you like me to help you schedule an initial appointment?
Yes, but before you do you take Aetna insurance?
Yes, we accept major commercial insurance plans, including Aetna. If you want, I can connect you to our insurance and billing department for any specific questions about your Aetna coverage. Would you like me to do that? Or should we continue with scheduling your son's new patient appointment?
Let's schedule the new patient appointment. How long would it take, give or take?
The initial visit for a new patient is scheduled for approximately 40 minutes. This allows enough time for a thorough evaluation and discussion. May I have your name and a good phone number to reach you, please? Also, do you have a preferred date and time window for the appointment?
Yes, tomorrow at any time after 10 a.m. And my name is Patrick Jean. My phone number is 470-792-2345.
Give me a second, Patrick. I will check the calendar for available appointment times tomorrow after 10 a.m. for your son's new patient visit. It looks like tomorrow after 10 a.m. we do not have availability during regular business hours, but there is an open slot starting at 10 a.m. next Monday if that works for you. Would you like me to schedule your son's new patient appointment then?
Yes, that works.
Give me a second. I will schedule a new patient appointment for your son on Monday, March 9th, starting at 10 a.m. The visit will be approximately 40 minutes for new patient intake and evaluation.
Thank you. All right. So what you just heard is a good example of how CAIRO handles a real front desk interaction. This is typically what you would hear from an intake at any medical facility in the US. Now, instead of forcing the caller to go through a typical menu, press 1 for this, press 2 for that, CAIRO lets the caller simply explains what they need and where in their own words. And then behind the scene, what happens is CAIRO is doing 3 things: understanding the intent of the call, capturing key information like the caller name information, and determining the right destination. In this case, it scheduled the appointment. It provided specific information, like it registered that my son needed to see a specialist and provided some of that basic information. And the whole interaction took less than a minute and a half. On average, if you were to call a medical facility to do the same thing without an AI receptionist like CAIRO, it would take you at least about 4 to 5 minutes. Okay.
4 to 5 minutes. I think that's 45 minutes in the last time I called the medical office like that, Patrick. So I don't know. Your doctor's better than mine with 4 to 5 minutes. But the one thing is that also at the end, because we are doing this session, we left off and didn't stay on the line for some of the verification, like your phone number verification and other items like that come through CAIRO when they schedule. So you scheduled the appointment. What type of notification do you get? I'm just curious.
Yes, I received a text message on once the appointment is booked, and then it will provide another text message 24 hours before the appointment. So you get constant notification on the number that you provided.
No, that's great. And, got to the insurance question quickly too, which is, I think, for a lot of people, half the hassle of, going through a doctor and scheduling a doctor's appointment. So that's pretty amazing.
Exactly. I wanted to keep it short and simple, but it can do a lot more than just booking the appointment and so on. But I just wanted to capture the key reasons why you would, call for an intake.
Excellent. That's really impressive. I love the scheduling. I love the insurance verification, taking you through those steps. Now, I see here next we have Riverview City Hall, which you think about it, totally different use case and totally different experience than scheduling with your doctor. So I'm excited to see what you have to show us here. So take it away.
Yes, with Riverview City Hall, we're going on a completely different route. And what we'll do is I'll call into the city and try to ask about different information and see how CAIRO can pivot between those different intakes and see how it works. So let me go ahead and place the call.
Yeah. I'm excited to hear what we're going to do at City Hall today.
Hi there. Thanks for calling Riverview City Hall. How can I help you today?
Hi, we just moved here to Riverview, and we're looking for activities to do with our 5-year-old daughter. She loves to swim. Do you have any idea?
Hello. That's wonderful to hear you and your family have moved to Riverview. Since your daughter loves to swim, you might be interested in our parks and recreation programs. We offer various recreational programs, including swim classes and pool activities. I can provide you with information on how to sign up for swim classes or other recreation programs, or transfer you to the Parks and Recreation Department for more details. Would you like me to connect you to Parks and Recreation?
Great idea. Now, before you do, is there a way I can reserve a covered ramada?
Yes, you can reserve a covered ramada in one of our parks. I can help you with that. To proceed, may I have your name, please?
Yes, the name is Patrick Jean.
Thank you, Patrick. When would you like to rent the ramada?
This Saturday, if possible, about 10.
Got it. How many people will attend the event?
15, give or take.
Thanks for the info, Patrick. Since your event will have about 15 people, that's within the typical capacity for a Ramada rental. I will add your reservation request for this Saturday around 10 a.m. for about 15 guests. I will check availability and schedule this for you. One moment, please.
Thank you very much.
Patrick.
All right.
So we're wrapping that up too, because she would go through, do some confirmation with you, get your number, send you the text, what we saw in the prior example, but just for the purpose of this presentation, we'll keep it a little shorter. But that was two totally unrelated things. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, and what we showed here is, again, the CAIRO, even though we're dealing with a completely different use case, it was able to capture some information, and then based on the information and the request, was able to route to the actual department or queue that needs to handle any particular request. So again, very different use cases, and those use cases are not only in healthcare or municipalities. We can configure CAIRO for schools, for retail, a number of verticals. It's just a matter of configuring that knowledge base, which is something that we'll go over in a little bit.
Okay, and for anybody watching today's webinar, the demo numbers that we've got there on the screen will be active through March 31st. You can call CAIRO and try it out yourself. So Patrick, there was a lot of stuff demonstrated in the two calls that you just made. Why don't you go ahead and take us through, some of the items that are the kind of those foundational features of CAIRO. So explain that to our audience.
Absolutely. So what you'll see is we mapped it out to create a complete 1, 2, 3, 4 sequence to show you exactly what the thought process is behind the AI receptionist CAIRO. So what we wanted to make sure that we captured a natural conversation. When talking to CAIRO, it always feels like you're talking naturally. You do not need to follow a specific process. You can pivot, and CAIRO would understand and then adapt. And the second part,
real quick, that was really interesting. Now, do end customers have the ability, because it was kind of a natural, casual conversation, do end customers have the ability to maybe customize the structure of the answer that the CAIRO is giving and the way the conversation is set up?
Absolutely. And once we get into the configuration portion, you will see the amount of different options that you'll have when configuring CAIRO. You can have a natural, a casual conversation, a more formal conversation, and so on. And our team always helps with mapping out the correct the process based on the use case.
Great.
Mm-hmm. And then after the natural conversation, what you were able to witness is answering and capturing key detail and key information. So if you wanted to leave information, like on the example with Riverview, where I wanted to give information so that CAIRO can schedule for me without me having to wait on the line and speak to someone and so on and so forth, you can actually give your information, and then it will follow a process depending on what's available in that knowledge base. Sure. So you can answer frequently asked questions or take information to do a process afterward.
Right? Yeah, that was really impressive.
Absolutely. And then the third part, which is key, it was able to route the call very accurately to different departments. So it doesn't matter if you have 15, 20 different departments, which is normal for a city hall or a school or any different use cases. It was able to route the call to different department without asking the caller where you want to go next. So it's a natural conversation, and it will make the decision to route the call where it needs to go.
And that routing is part of the integration with Crescendo's NetSapiens platform. So that's all fully contained and manageable by the customer or our partner within that portal, correct?
Absolutely. So it will take in all the configuration, the call queue, and the routing protocols within the system, and then map it out. And then you really do not need to reconfigure any call flow that was created for any system. Right. This will sit on top.
Okay. Great. And what's this last one, Whisper Intelligence?
Oh, that is key. Whisper intelligence is a way for the receptionist to, when transferring to a live person, it gives that person a summary of that previous interaction, so that when the human receives the call coming from CAIRO, that person does not need to ask the same questions over. So when they pick up the call, CAIRO would have a summary of that previous interaction, so that the person can just pick up and take that conversation from where it left off.
Wow, impressive.
Absolutely. Okay. All right. So what I'd like to do now, John, is I'd like to take you back to the configuration features, and then show you how we configure CAIRO and how easy it is to make some adjustments. So I'll go ahead and switch over to the AI receptionist right here. And what you're able to see is this is the configuration portal that is very accessible to any admin on the platform. And as you can see, on a domain, an environment, you can have multiple AI receptionists that would do different functions if you wish.
So Patrick, so this is a customer-facing portal. So any company administrator or anybody that has the rights within the organization can actually manage CAIRO themselves?
Absolutely. And everything I'm going to show you now, John, are things that the administrator on the account will be able to access, and they will be able to do exactly the changes I'm going to make. Now, when we configure a new account, we do all the configurations ourselves based on the customer's key requirements. But afterwards, they'll be able to log in and make all those changes themselves if they wish to.
Okay.
All right. And as you can see here, on an environment, you can have multiple receptionists that would do different functions. So what I'll do is I'll go into the front desk receptionist for the medical use case that we just saw, and I go to edit, and this will give me a set of tabs where I can fully customize and configure the receptionist. Right here, I just put in some basic information on the business, the website, and a brief description, and then the operating hours. And then I get to select the AI personality. So we have a few options and more to come. So we have different voices, male, female, that you can listen to, and then make your selection. And then we talked about how you can configure the personality. So you can go from formal to friendly to casual. Based on your environment, you can change this at any time. And then, of course, you have your welcome message. So very important that you can just type in a welcome message. And then throughout this whole portal, what you'll see is this little icon, and that will be improved with AI. So there's an embedded large language model that will be able to take in whatever information you put in and optimize it for the particular use case, right? So you don't need to have everything written down. You can just type in a couple of things and then improve with AI, and it will optimize it for you.
And Patrick, as I understand it, CAIRO today supports English and Spanish. We'll switch between the two languages in the same call, and there's more languages to come, right?
Absolutely. So it flawlessly moves from English to Spanish right now. So if you were to start a conversation in Spanish, it would respond to you in Spanish. And then the moment you switch to English, it will switch to English and vice versa. So it's pretty fluid.
Wow, great.
Mm-hmm. All right. Now I'll take you through the agent knowledge or knowledge base. This is where really the magic happens. This is where this AI tool does not just route calls to different departments, but it will actually handle questions as simple or as complex as you can make it, right? So for example, when we bring in a customer on board, they have their website. We can generate the knowledge base based on the website. But if they have any additional information, tech information, or any information that's not captured on the website, we can add them manually here. So what we would do is would add all the information that you want CAIRO to have access to so that it could answer questions. You just add them here. You don't need to put in questions and answers. You just put the information there, and it will generate those answers. Okay. And
so
again,
really the process here of setting up CAIRO is not materially different than the process of training a new employee, right? You're just taking the manual of the information that you would have to train an employee, and you're putting it into this portal. And then with your little button there that you were going to show me, that allows you to improve it with AI, so it fine tunes the answers that it's able to give back, right?
Yeah, so a very smart employee.
Right.
Right. And then again, you put that information here. This has a capacity of 500 megabit of information. So that's a lot of information that you could put in. So you can make that AI tool as smart, as able to answer as many questions, as complex of questions that you'd like. And then once you do that, you scroll down and then you save. And then we go to the call routing. So we mentioned how CAIRO can leverage the call routing that you already have configured on your phone system. And then what you will see here is we put a couple of information. So this is where you can select the number for CAIRO. So you can have CAIRO, those would be all the numbers that are associated with your account, and you can select the numbers that you want. And then CAIRO can have multiple numbers. So if you advertise multiple numbers and then you want people to, when they dial in different numbers, they reach CAIRO, you can do that as well. All right. Once you select those numbers here, you also have the capability of putting in a text message number. What CAIRO will be able to do, and this is a very powerful tool here, is CAIRO is able to send you, as you saw, a verification for your scheduled appointments, right? But on top of that, what this will be able to do is you can actually create some keyword triggering events, meaning that if you want CAIRO to send a notification to, let's say, a supervisor or anybody whenever a keyword is triggered. So if during my interaction here for Riverview or for Desert Willow, the medical use case, if I were to mention that I was having heart palpitation or some event that you would like to trigger an immediate keyword notification to anyone, you could do that as well. So this is the number.
Another key distinction there, Patrick, too, is that within that knowledge base, if there's a list of ailments that somebody needs to, like, hang up the phone and dial 911, which is what doctors' offices say, your heart palpitations question could drive that type of response from CAIRO and stop moving them through the rest of the process, right?
Absolutely. So it will not, if you mention you have heart palpitation, it would do, based on your knowledge base here, it would do something like you need to hang up and dial 911 immediately, or any of those protocols already built in, but you can actually fine tune them based on your own, protocol.
Excellent.
Absolutely. And then back to call routing. So those are the different departments or queues that you would have on your phone system, and you can toggle those on and off. And you will see that same improve with AI tool here. So you do not need to write all the different scenarios where calls would need to go to, say, triage nurse. You could just type in a couple of reasons, and then once you hit improve with AI, the tool will generate all the different reasons why it would go to particular triage nursing. And it is exceptionally accurate when it routes calls to those particular departments.
Interesting.
And what's more interesting is that it doesn't have to go to specific departments. For example, I scroll down here, and then you will see routing to specific users. If you remember, when I scheduled the intake for my son with special needs, it referred me to Hannah Lee, Dr. Hannah Lee, and that's based on that knowledge base. It knows that Dr. Hannah Lee is specialized in developmental for kids, so it would route me directly to Hannah Lee. And what you can do is you can remove people. So if, for example, the president of a company does not want to be listed or does not want the call to go to them for any reason, you can remove them. So you can be very selective at who gets calls for any particular scenario. And then finally, default routing. This is our our backup. This is our redundancy protocol. So for any reason where the CAIRO would not be able to route to a particular department, it will default to a particular routing. We don't want CAIRO to guess, right? So it will be very accurate in situations where maybe on your knowledge base you have conflicting information or there's some information that's missing. It will always default to a routing. So it will not disconnect the call. It will not send you somewhere just because it couldn't get to somewhere. It will have a fallback rule, which is something that you can configure here. So for example, I put it on operator to send the call back there.
And in my understanding, at any time during a conversation with CAIRO, you can escalate out of CAIRO, obviously, to get to a human and route to another destination. So as long as the AI is helpful and it's productive and it's helping people get to the end goal that they contacted the business or the organization for that day, it will flow smoothly. And if in any case that it doesn't, they can always get to an administrator or someone else who can answer the call.
Exactly.
Great.
And then finally, integration. So what's key to CAIRO is the ability to schedule appointments. So we were able to go ahead and schedule an appointment. And for now, we have the ability to schedule appointments with Google Calendar or Microsoft Outlook. And it's very easy to configure. You just put in your calendar and then just toggle this on or off, and it will connect to that particular calendar. And then it will not just place appointments to that calendar, it will check availability on that calendar and then be able to book them. Okay.
And then the next part of real-time notifications, this is what you talked about before. If you have a list of keywords or anything like that, it automatically sends a text notification with the information to the number you provide, correct?
Absolutely. And then you put a number here, and that's the number where it will send the alert, and it's in real time while the call is happening. If any one of those keywords, and it doesn't have to be keyword, it could be a sentence, could be an intent, and you just put in a couple of words here, and again, improve with AI. So all of those different keywords are not things that you have to list yourself. As long as you put a couple of things in there, and then based on context clues, it will go ahead and generate everything else. And as always, you can go ahead and update that. So if I wanted to remove this, I can do that as well. And then once I'm done, I can save and I'm done. And then
I was just, the testing is just the testing. So we're a little tight on time from this perspective, but basically you've shown us how a company, it's really not that challenging. If you're saying that it's initially set up for customers by Crescendo and then they can manage their changes themselves, it's all integrated with the NetSapiens platform, which is what powers Crescendo's VIP service and also powers the communications platform for about 240 other service providers globally. That's a really powerful tool. So let's go back to the other information and talk a little bit about, some of the other key features for CAIRO and help people understand a little bit about what it replaces, doesn't replace, things like that. So you want to toggle back to the other screen? Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. Let me go ahead and blow that up again, and then let's continue. So if you were to ask me what CAIRO is in simple terms, so elevator pitch, it is basically it has natural language greeting, which is very important because you want to get into a situation where when you call CAIRO, you don't automatically say operator just to get to a human. You can actually have that conversation with CAIRO, and then it will do that, what we call intent discovery. So you do not need to tell exactly what you're looking for, like a script. You can just have that natural conversation. It will identify what is needed, and then will ask you those questions if needed, or route you to the right department, right? And then, as you mentioned, it supports conversational English and Spanish. You do not need to say, okay, now I need to speak Spanish. Whatever you start speaking, it will match, and then it will respond in that language, right? And then department and topic, you can route the call to different department, different different queues depending on how that call flow is configured within the system. Again, it can capture callers' detail in different states, so you can have what we call nested capture. So you can have information on a sequence. So it will ask for the example with the remodel rental, it asks for name first, then time, then how many people, and you can set parameters around what those requirements are, right? And then again, at any point, which as you mentioned, it will route to live handling at any point. If you want to talk to a live person, you can do that. And then again, frequently asked questions, that's completely based on your knowledge base. You can make it as complex or as simple as possible as you'd like, and then you can fine tune it as you see. So as you start interacting with CAIRO, which has been our experience as well, you can start with a very small knowledge base, and then turns out you want CAIRO to handle more of the calls, and then you just add some information there and then watch it expand. Right.
So I think it's what we've seen is customers really getting confidence in CAIRO and its capabilities, and then thinking of other things they can add, because that does offload that work, obviously, from the people that they have doing other jobs within their organization while they're tasked with answering the telephone and handling these type of calls inbound from customers.
Exactly. And again, the scheduling, the SMS notification, those are key. But what I really like, John, is the whisper intelligence. When CAIRO handles all those interactions and it has to continue or send the call to a human, it makes sense that it would provide a summary of that interaction, because when the call gets transferred to that human, that person does not know what transpired. So it makes sense that it would give them that summary.
Yes.
And then where it fits. So CAIRO is very powerful, but it does not, there are limitations, and it's very important for us to pinpoint those limitations. So what it replaces your basic auto attendant, press 1 for this, press 2 for that. You never need to do that anymore. And then it is basically the front desk. So it reduced friction on the front desk side. So it doesn't matter if it's peak hours and you're getting 20, 50 calls at the same time, CAIRO will be able to handle those calls and will have that consistency. So at any time you call CAIRO, you will have that same experience, right? And then, of course, you reduce missed calls, because what happens is whenever somebody calls a business and they need service right away, if they have to wait, and some people are less patient than others, they will hang up and call the next business. So you will never have that issue with CAIRO. Now, what it does not replace human interactions, right? So that's valuable. And there are certain scenarios where you may want to have a human answer the call right away, right? So it does not replace that human touch. It does not replace a full system as well, right? So as you see, it lays on top of the phone system. So it will not replace your call routing or any other function of the phone system at all, right? And then there are situations where you may need an IVR, like a complex IVR that will data dip into a set of information, so it will not replace it as well.
But by far, for the majority of businesses and organizations, having this available on your main number, so not in a highly specialized call center or those type of skills, is just an amazingly powerful tool. And this can be delivered to companies of all sizes. So it really allows them to focus more on serving the customers that are in front of them, and allowing CAIRO to triage and manage a lot of the communications on the inbound calls from customers that they're receiving.
Absolutely. And if I wanted to tie a nice bow around CAIRO, this would be the key experience point. So this would be your key selling point there. It provides fewer missed opportunities. So you will have very few missed calls. It will have a better routing accuracy. So you will not, or very rarely, you would have a situation where the call goes to a department where it didn't need to go, right? And it goes back to the receptionist, and the receptionist would have to send it somewhere else. So you would not have that issue with CAIRO. And then again, shorter time to human. the interaction where I scheduled the call, even if I needed to speak to Dr. Hannah Lee or a specialist on a line, that interaction with CAIRO would be drastically shorter than if I was to wait on a call, speak to a receptionist, and so on. So shorter time to human. And then again, we touched on that consistent customer experience. It doesn't matter what time you call, CAIRO will have the same experience for the caller. Right.
And then, one thing, just to be precise too, in that healthcare use case, is we all know many doctors have their own nurse or a front end person that would field all of their calls first. With that routing capability that you showed us, any of those use cases that the customer has can be configured within that portal and then actioned on by CAIRO, correct?
Exactly. And all that configuration, again, can be done on the portal that I showed you, and nothing is set in stone. So after you monitor what happens, you can adjust, you can reconfigure. It's very easy to do, and the changes take place instantly. So once you make a change to the configuration, you hit save, and then it happens.
Great.
Right. And then here's the information.
Yeah, for anybody who is watching today and you want to find out more information about CAIRO, the Crescendo AI receptionist and orchestrator. If you're an end customer, Crescendo has a service for end customers. You can see on the left side of your screen, reach out to us there. And if you're offering your own hosted platform and you don't have the ability to offer these types of AI applications, because CAIRO is one of many applications within our NetSapiens platform ecosystem that's available for service providers to deploy on their platform. On the right side of your screen, you can find out more about the NetSapiens platform if you follow up with us there and the power that it can bring to your organization. And besides that, for our audience, there's 240 service providers globally that are powered by the NetSapiens platform today, and many of them are deploying CAIRO as part of their solution as well. So there's different ways to contact us. Feel free to reach out. We're obviously extremely excited about the capabilities that we're able to offer today in CAIRO, and the things that we know we're adding to it in the future that we're not prepared to talk to you about today, because everything that you saw today is available now and being deployed to organizations like yours. So I want to take a minute and I want to thank Patrick for taking us through the demo and providing the information on today's call. I'm John Brinton, Chief Revenue Officer at Crescendo, and it's been a pleasure to talk to you and share this information about CAIRO. Everybody have a great day. Thank you.
Bye-bye.